There it is.
As you fade away, as you fade away, as you fade away, as you fade away.
Welcome back to Gun Tote Minnesota. Today I have another product brought to you by ZeroTech Precision Optics. So ZeroTech is a company I've connected with in the past, and they've sent out a couple optics to me previously, such as their Vengeance line, and this one is in the Vengeance line actually, but some higher magnification offerings, as well as the Trace Advanced RMG, which is kind of their premium top tier offering, also high magnification. Today's is going to be a lower magnification offering, and so it's a 1 to 6, kind of the opposite end of the magnification range, but still very, very high quality. This is brand new for them, the 1 to 6, and so I'm just showing you a little bit on the website here, some of the things that you maybe would have questions about. The website is very, very useful. So you can see some of the information, such as it has multi-coated lenses, 30mm tube, has capped turrets, has an adjustable ring obviously, with a throw lever, or a magnification throw lever, cattail some people call it. This one actually has a locking diopter, which is not super common nowadays. You don't always get that with an optic, and so I appreciate that. There's some cool things, some extra features on this scope, and my favorite is the RAR reticle. So I prefer angulature measurement type reticles kind of in everything, and this one does it really well. This is an MOA based reticle, and I'm going to go ahead and blow it up, make it a little bit bigger for you to see here in just a second, but you'll see that it has 3 pinnacles on it right there. It's a second focal plane, so the reticle is going to stay the same size at any magnification, either it's 1 or 6, you know, it's going to be the same size. And then you have a nice center aiming dot that's really nice if you're going to do a little bit more target practice, precision work. And remember, I was shooting this out past 800 yards, and that center dot was fantastic. I also dialed, and then I also used the holdover with 24 M-Wave holdover. I tried it all, and the reticle is extremely versatile. I'll show you more of that in a little bit in the way that I used it. I really like it. I think it's a great design. The way that the scope is configured and the reticle it offers makes a lot of sense. So like I said, the website is very useful, and I would suggest go check out the website, especially if you want to know about the specifications, what comes inside the box. Those are all useful things you can find immediately on their website, and they have a good one. When I'm going to buy an optic, I do a lot of research on their website first, because I want to see what the manufacturer is advertising about the optic especially. And so this is a good website. You have a manual, as well as the reticle design and specifications for those subtensions. You can go check that out. And then here, this is really important, whether you're going to run a 1-piece mount, a cantilever, 2-piece mount, depending on whether you're running it on like a bolt action or an AR or an AK, like in my case in this video. Those are good specs to know offhand. So here's mine. I appreciate the scope covers that it comes with them. It does the trick for sure. Even though it's multi-coated lenses and they're more scratch resistant than lenses were back in the day, I like to protect nice things, and this is a really nice scope, so I use the scope covers. It does have a diopter lockout feature, and so if you can see forward where my hand is there, that's where that's going to be, right next to the magnification ring, and I was able to get it nice and clear for my eye. The reticle is very clear, and I'm just showing you right here on the magnification lever that assisted cattail, or that extended cattail, is actually on another one. There are 2 pieces there, so you could take that little Allen off if you want to remove the extended one if it's interfering with something, although I don't think it will, because it's a 1 to 6, and so it doesn't go too far in your way. But if it did run in the way, you could remove it, and there's a smaller nub underneath, and I really like that because there's a lot of thoughtfulness going into this, and just the fact that you don't have to pay for it. Some manufacturers, you would have to pay for an extra piece as a cattail, and this one, nope, you get them both, and they're built in. Good design. When it comes to LPVOs, a lot of people prefer to have capped turrets, and so that they can have the best of both worlds. They can both dial, and these are resettable to 0, obviously. Don't have a 0 stop, but you can still reset it to 0, and then you can cover it back up again so it doesn't get bumped. Now, listen to these turrets. It's a good sound, very tactile. You can definitely feel it and hear it. Now to reset it to 0, it's a really simple process. You just hold on to it, grab your Allen key. There's actually one provided in the box. I just don't know why I didn't grab it for this. So you take that, you loosen it up, you would lift it up, And in fact, I'll give you a little peek inside just so you can see what's going on. I didn't find any shavings inside of mine. I didn't find any pieces that would have been problematic. So you can see the rubber O-rings there, and then the teeth for engaging on the turret tower. Looks real good. Okay, setting the Zero back, all you have to do is put it right back on and nestle your Allen back in the proper place. You really don't have to crank down hard on this, just, you know, finger tight is going to be plenty good right there. Right there, you can see it just moved on me a little bit when I wasn't holding on to it, so I just grasp it and then tighten it down and you're good to go. Those are half MOA adjustments, by the way, which I think is very appropriate. When it comes to illumination, I have the opinion that if you're going to put it on an optic, it might as well be, you know, really usable. It doesn't make sense to put illumination on there if it doesn't have these features. So this has an offsetting in between. It goes up to level 6. Level 6 is very bright. You could even use it in a lit day, as you can see here on a light surface. You can still see it. I'm going to show that a little better later. But on an appropriate surface, you know, something darker or lower light, yes, it works very well. The location and the function of it is fantastic. It feels really good. The texture is really great on it as well. And so I think it's actually one of the best illumination knobs I've used on an optic. Just something that came in the box here. I wanted to show you a couple things that you might not have known about. If you don't look at manuals, you're going to miss out on a few of these things. First of all, inside this bag, you're going to find a reticle diagram. I like to use these with new shooters because I can point out where to hold or what the distances and values are of the subtensions. Very useful. And then at the bottom there, you can record your dope for different distances. And so you could keep it around with your rifle or in your gun bag. Might be very useful. Maybe if you're on a hunt especially, just to have that in your back pocket. In the manual, it's going to tell you how to reset the Zero and how to put the batteries in, those basic kind of things. And then there's also a secondary bullet drop details holder or a data input sheet. Any owner, any problem, always covered. That's their warranty. Really good to know. Another thing included in the box are going to be a couple scope tools and a lens cloth, which is actually an appropriate lens cloth meant for cleaning optics. Sometimes different manufacturers will include a cloth that is more of a screen rubbing device, you know, something for like a phone, and it's not so much for good quality glass or an optic that you care about. And so that's nice to see that they put an appropriate lens cloth in there. Now, I'm going to be doing a little shooting here at 200. One day I was recording some velocities and doing some group shooting with different kinds of ammo. I don't have a bunch of footage of doing transition drills, you know, between 1 and 6 power at 25 or 50 yards on close targets. I think some other channels will do a great job of displaying that. What I wanted to do is just something a little more unique and just show some actual distance shooting, because I really believe that the variable range of 1 to 6 is actually very capable. So on this particular day right here, I was shooting at 200 yards, getting some data, collecting some data, nice bright day. And you know, on a bright day, obviously you get kind of the best of it. It looks good. I was shooting at 600 on this particular day, and again, the camera is going to diminish the quality of the glass, but you can at least tell that the glass isn't like awful bad glass. In fact, it's very good glass. It's one of the things I noticed right away, and why this optic will be staying and the optic that was on that rifle will be leaving, is this actually has really good quality glass, and it was just night and day between a competitor's optic. A couple things I wanted to show here also is going back and forth on that second focal plane, showing you how the reticle looks at 1 or 6 power, and illumination on that IDPA sized target. And that's what that is out there at 630 yards. Now, this isn't locked into a vise right now. The scope isn't mounted on a brick, so I'm not testing precision tracking with this, but I will tell you that my data, when I walked it out to 830 yards, you see that in a little bit, my data was exactly the same in MOA as I had recorded in mils. That means the tracking was spot on. As far as I can tell, it was spot on, and so I'm very happy with that, especially considering the fact it's a 1 to 6 with capped turrets, and it's tracking that well with a capped turret. I just think that's phenomenal. So I spent some time after discovering that it was, you know, really trustworthy, and finding that the glass was good on a bright day. If you can tell, the sun is up at my upper left. Really a scorcher on this particular day, very, very bright. Now, I didn't have any issues with Mirage because it's a 1 to 6 power, and there's a benefit there with that. I tracked it out to the 630 repeatedly, and I went down to 0, back up, and then I did some holdovers as well, a little bit of hybrid combination, so I could try out the Stadia that's included inside that reticle, and I really like it, guys. I think it's fantastic. Being that it's a second focal plane, if you use it on one power on, say, like an animal at close distances, you still have a reticle where you can take a quick shot, and you can also take a more precise shot with that dot, and then running right out to 600 and then 800 yards. I have that center dot or the stadia, and I can dial. I'm just saying the combination of this scope, it gets it all right for each style of shooting. 830 yards. It's pretty far. So it's going to be a good toss. So I'm going to go ahead and get comfortable, get settled, and we'll see if I can stack a couple rounds in there on an IDPA silhouette. The sun has basically gone down. It's maybe 10 minutes more until sundown, and from there I'll be able to really test this in low light and at distance. And again, it's not lit up down there. It's pretty dark down there. Some trees and a dark background. So gonna have to have good glass to be able to see that, make it out. There it is. Not too bad. I want to throw some more rounds downrange there, but spotting on a dark surface when the sun is going down with a 1-to-6 power at 830 yards. Just think about that for a second. You can't have a really crappy piece of glass and make that work well. And so I'm seeing my misses, and there's plenty of them. I'm seeing my misses really, really well down there, but I want to shoot some more. That's fun. So originally I was going to throw this on an 18-inch AR that I like a lot, but I've been shooting my AK a whole lot lately, and I really prefer this optic on the AK, so it's going to stay right here. And let me tell you a few reasons why I decided to keep it right here. First of all, the glass quality is a noticeable upgrade from the competition. It is observably different. I could tell right away. And on top of that, the versatility of the optic. You know, it's a 1-to-6, but it's got that reticle that I really like. You can use the holdovers like some other optics, but then you can also dial on this one, and it's reliable tracking, guys. That's a really big deal to me. You can also reset the turret to a 0. Not having a 0 stop is not a deal breaker to me on an LPVO. And on this one, you know, everything about it, the knurling, the finish, the features, the cattail, the illumination knob, everything about it just kind of screams high quality compared to the competitors, which they just don't feel that way to me. So I'm going to be heading out to the range with this guy.
There it is.